I mean, at least I'm taking up all this space anyway.
There you go. Yeah,
Yeah. All right. Speak up a
Okay.
little louder if you can.
okay.
Oh, we
All
have
right,
just
will
about a
do.
second. Here we go. This is Karen with NewClevelandRadio.net, and it is time for What in the World with.
With me, Paul Seaburn.
That's your
Hi,
name.
Karen. Yes, and Karen Hale. Hi, Karen.
Yes,
How are
I'm
you?
here. I'm fine. And we see John there.
John DiNallo is on the screen somewhere. He's
Yes.
filling up his whole screen. He's proud of himself today. He's figured out a way to fill up the whole screen. We don't want to
Well,
see your
yeah.
background anyways, John.
I got you, Paul. I got you. Hi, Paul. Hi, Karen.
Hi.
Another show.
Good to see you.
Can't wait
Thank
to
you for
start.
being here on a Monday. We have a special Monday edition of What in the World. And despite the fact that we only had 6 days to prepare since last Tuesday, we have a ton of stories, as always, on What in the World. And I want to mention this right up front. Real news, sometimes strange, always funny. And I want to emphasize the real news because we're going to be talking about how we're ahead of the curve with the news that you hear on What in the World. You may think it's strange. Trust me, the world is listening to What in the World, and you're going to find out about that today. We're here on NewClevelandRadio.net, which is the platform that Karen provides us with. If you go to NewClevelandRadio.net, click on my name, you find out all the platforms that you can listen to or download for free. What in the World? We're also on YouTube. If you're watching us, hi, nice to see you. Hope you enjoy seeing us. And thank you. Whatever you're on, click on the like or the follow or all that stuff so we know that you're there. We always said one of these days we'll figure out how to do this all interactively. But you know, we're we're busy.
I don't pay you enough.
And we'll leave it at that, Karen, and go right to what we're talking about this week. So the Russians are going to do an action movie on the space station. We're going to talk about that. An American actress, famous American actress and singer, is getting her own UFO show. This is, by the way, I have my aliens and flying saucer sweatshirt on today. Normally it's a Christmassy season kind of thing, but because I've got so many UFO and alien stories, I figured it would be appropriate to wear. So
absolutely.
Yeah, actress on UFOs. A three-eyed cow in Wales. I got a picture, don't worry. This is for you, John DiNallo in sports. Lake monster seen at a PGA water hazard. And I have a picture. Let's see, a medieval statue in Europe gets a stone mask. Not only we gave up the mask, now the statues are getting their mask. We've got I interviewed a lady who is an alien abductee, a UFO abductee. So we're going to try and talk about her. Crop circle in the first crop circle of the year. My favorite monster named the Ogopogo raised its ugly head this week. So for the first time in 2021, that's a sign of spring. Along with the cicadas. I think I'm talking about the cicada. Maybe do I have a story about the cicadas? We'll find out. I don't know. I don't remember. I wrote this 30 minutes ago and I've already forgotten it. More sports, weird sports with John DiNallo. He's got a great one for us this week. I hope you're hungry. And news, trivia, you name it, we've got it at What in the World. What we don't have here is political news, bad news, depressing news, business news. This is the place to come for an hour, have a good time. Here's some stuff you don't hear anyplace else. And now I'm going to fill you in. You hear it here first on What in the World.
Absolutely.
Real news, sometimes strange, always funny. That's our motto. So let's get started with this guy. Now, this guy's been in. I forgot to. You know what we forgot to do, Karen?
What did we forget to do?
We could see our pictures here.
But I shared
that. I've got things going here. Good. Okay, there we go. Yep. Okay. Can we? So now I need to share that. Let's see. Oh, I'm back. Let's see. I can see myself again. what a thrill. Okay, so we talked about this guy last week. This is John Cox. He's a candidate running for governor of California who likes to make campaign appearances with a live bear. That is a live bear, 1,100-pound, allegedly trained bear. Guess what? He's in trouble for the
He
bear.
should be. He
Yeah,
should be.
he violated a San Diego law that bans anyone except zoos from bringing wild animals into San Diego. So there he is. That's the waters of San Diego over there, I guess. And he's breaking the law, which means his poll numbers go up with the Republicans. On the other hand, the bear is now polling number one with the Democrats. So this is, and he even promised to be bipartisan. He was going to bring a brown bear, a black bear, a polar bear, and for the independents, a panda bear. But they're saying, no, I'm sorry, Mr. Cox. No more bears at the campaign rally. So I think that's a good move on his part. I certainly wouldn't want to go to see somebody, even if I like them, if they had a bear on the.
I think that bear is sedated.
Yeah, it does. This one doesn't.
Yeah.
The last picture we had last week, I think it was standing up. This week he or she, he's a Republican, so it must be a he, does look sedated. So, but big.
Yeah.
Anyway, oh, I do have a story about the cicada. This is good news. If you're afraid of the cicadas, and I just checked before we came on, in Ohio, which is where we're at in the Northeast Ohio area, the 17-year cicadas will be coming out of their slumber this weekend. So be prepared for the chirping to get extremely loud, because that's all they do. They chirp and they have sex. And one more thing I found out this week. Some of them will be infected with a sexually transmitted disease, a fungus, which is similar to the fungus in psilocybin mushrooms. Those are the magic mushrooms that cause hallucinations. But in cicadas, it causes their butts to fall off and leaves them stoned but unable to copulate.
Oh, that's too bad.
I know. I had a friend in college who was like that. He took mushrooms and he couldn't do it either. And he couldn't find his wallet. So maybe he had the same thing. His girlfriend left him. That was after that. But if you're putting two and two together, and I'm gonna take the bear down here. We don't need to look at him anymore. If you're putting two and two together and thinking, oh boy, I'm gonna have 1 million cicadas in my yard. I'm gonna collect them, maybe make some brownies, smoke them, put them in the bong. It doesn't work that way. I already tried. It doesn't. No, I'm kidding. It doesn't work that way. But if you want to have some fun with your old hippie friends, tell them that it does. You know, the ones that smoke banana peels, those are the ones. They'll believe you. So they're supposed to come out this weekend, just when we can go out without masks in the Northeast Ohio area. We're going to be breathing in cicada stuff. I'll leave it at that. I don't know what they do. I'm not sure if I want to know. Now, this is something that we have all encountered in our lives. In fact, I think I have some here that I'll use as a prop. Post-it notes. I have some right here, Post-it notes. Spencer Silver, the 3M chemist who invented the glue in Post-it notes, passed away last week at the age of 80. Poor guy. They were talking to him. He got to heaven. St. Peter said, you can come in, but don't bring any Post-it notes into this place, because he doesn't want Post-it notes all over the place. Seems like they've been around forever, doesn't it? Like
yeah, it does.
We were born with Post-it notes. Turns out he didn't invent the glue until 1968, and nobody at 3M was interested. And he would give lectures on it, and people would say, "Yeah, right. Thanks a lot, Spencer. What else you got?" But this one guy who also worked at 3M was in a church choir, and he had his songbook, his hymnal, and he had a bookmark in there. And every time he opened the hymnal, the bookmark fell out. And he said, gee, it would really be nice if I had something that would let me temporarily stick my bookmark in the right place. Wow, Spencer, I need to call him. And that's what he did. He called the Spencer guy, who said, yeah, that's a good idea. And so they put the stuff together. And what color are Post-it notes normally?
Yellow.
Yellow. You know why they're on yellow? Because 3M was so cheap back in those days. The only thing that the printer that they were using had was yellow paper. So they said, fine, we'll take it on that. It's never going to sell. And sure enough, it's like they're huge. Kept the company in business for years. 1974 is when it came out. So, that's still 50 some years, but 45 years. But they do. It seems like they've been around forever. Okay, here's one for you, John. Get ready. Are you there?
I'm here, yeah.
You see your head. Okay. A new poll found that 25% of American men think they could beat a king cobra in a fight. However, another 25% think they would lose a fight with a house cat. So 25% think they would beat a cobra, a viper, a venomous snake, but they'd lose to a little kitty cat, the kind you see on the internet. The other 50%, which would be us, would pay to watch either one of those fights occur. So, John, I'm offering this question to you. Do you think you could defeat a king cobra?
I have to err on the side of caution on this one, Paul. And discretion is the better part.
Thinking about it.
Well, no, discretion is the better part of valor. No way.
No way.
Venomous
How about
snake?
a cat? How about a cat?
Oh, the cat, I think I could deal with.
You
I
could
think
take a
that's a
cat.
little bit more realistic. The viper, I'm not going there.
No,
I'm not going there.
I've seen all the Indiana Jones movies. Indiana Jones defeated the guy who reaches into people's chest and pulls out their beating heart. But when he sees a snake, he runs away.
He's got a phobia, right?
There you go. That's right. I err on the side of Indiana Jones. No king cobras for me. Although if I was roped into it, I'd wear snakeskin boots because I think that might scare them. And a cat, if I had to fight a cat, I'd bring a laser pointer. Like the big time wrestlers, I'd stuff it in my tights. And when the referee wasn't looking, I'd pull it out and flash it around.
It would be the infamous foreign object.
There you go. Yeah, that's exactly right. That's the technical term for it. Laser pointer in your pants is the foreign object. Okay, so I want to stop here because I said, you come to What in the World for the strange and weird and fun news. But I've said this before. So there's occasions when we're ahead of the curve and we're actually covering stuff that you don't hear on the mainstream media, but you will. And sure enough, that happened this weekend. And maybe many of you saw this, but 60 Minutes, the esteemed CBS news program, Sunday nights for 50 years, I think, maybe even more, talked about UFOs this weekend. Karen, I know you watched it. John, Did you happen to catch that show?
I didn't happen to catch it this weekend. I normally watch that show, but we were doing something. I was unable to see it.
Well, they talked about the UFOs that we talked about on the show, the infamous Tic Tac UFOs that the USS Nimitz pilots saw back in 2004, and the government covered it up, and then somebody found the video and released it, and the Pentagon had to say, yeah, we did. So just past weekend, some more videos were released. And in June, and I think we've talked about this, the U.S. government has committed to releasing a report on their various hidden secret UFO files, the X-Files, the infamous X-Files. But we'll see if that happened. But that's got even little Marco Rubio, the Republican senator from Florida, was on the show talking about it. And they referred to it as a trans-medium UFO, the most recent one, which was seen by the USS Omaha off the coast of Los Angeles. They call it transmedium because it flies right above the water, and then it dipped into the water and disappeared. But they couldn't find any pieces anywhere. So the guy, so on 60 Minutes, they had a pilot who said that he has, during a 6-month period, he and his fellow pilots saw these UFOs every single day, and they told their superiors every day, and their superiors wrote it down and never did anything about it. And he said, this is a real security problem, which sure sounds like it, whether it's foreign UFOs, from a foreign government, or our own government testing them, or aliens. It's something that they should be doing something about. And then they brought on Louis Elizondo, who's in my field, and the editor and head writer at Mysterious Universe, where we do a lot of paranormal stories, a lot of UFO stories. He's the kingpin. He worked for the government in a secret UFO program for a number of years, till they wouldn't do anything. So he got out, and now he's fighting the man. Get those UFO reports out. So he said, and I want to quote what he said. This is what he said about this stuff. Now, he knows from the inside and the outside. Imagine a technology that can do 600 to 700 G-forces. It can fly 13,000 miles an hour. It can evade radar and can fly through the air and the water and possibly space. And oh, by the way, has no obvious signs of propulsion, no wings, no control surfaces, and yet can defy the natural effects of Earth's gravity. That's precisely what we're seeing. And if you want to see it for yourself, I actually have a picture. Once we get past the bear here. Get ready for this, John, you doubter. There you go. There's your UFOs for you, John. Now, I know what you're thinking. I can see it. I can hear the gears grinding. This is not an actual photograph because it was pitch black when they took it. So this is the inverse radar image from inside the ship that allows them to see it. But on 60 Minutes, you can Google that video. And
wait a minute, Paul. Wait a minute. It's really fuzzy though, the picture.
It's the military. It went to the lowest bidder. So they don't get real expensive cameras like you can afford, John. This is the best they can do. I don't think this is 5G. I think they're down in 1G. Maybe 20 or 30 pixels in inches.
Oh.
I'm sorry to disappoint you, John. I got a better one for you later. But anyway, so this is from the USS Omaha. So this is big news. This is really big news that we cover for months and months, probably years ago, on What in the World. And now 60 Minutes and the New York Times have finally caught up with us. So Karen, you should be publicizing this. This is What in the World is the place to come for leading edge before the mainstream media news on UFOs, at least.
I will do that.
Okay, so while we're still talking about UFOs here, we go to Russia, and they want to catch up to us really bad. So we walked on the moon first. We got the first rovers on Mars. So we're beating the pants off of them or what did they? Yeah, they wear pants in. Do they wear leather pants in? No, that's Germany. Anyways, what was I saying? Oh yeah, so the Russian space agency, Roscosmos. We've talked about them before. They're filming an action thriller on the International Space Station. And they just announced this week that they selected the actress. They had, I want to read this to you. As a result of medical and creative selection, the State Commission recommended Yulia Peresild is her name. And so she's the actress. Another actress, Alina Mordovina, is her backup. And a third actress, Galina Karova, was also selected, not as an actress, but she was also a pilot. So she's the second backup, and they're going to train her anyways because they think they want her as an astronaut. Now, these are not your, and no offense to Russian ladies out there, but this is not your typical Russian lady. Here's the three actresses. This is right from the Russian news here. So the picture I'm showing is in Russian. The lady on the left is what did I say her name was? Yulia Parasad, the Parasil. Alina is in the middle, and Galina is the one with the pilot headset on the right. So hot babes for this movie. You know, this is one of those. This is going to be a good movie. So I have a picture. She had to. Let me give you her bio here. She's a philologist, which is a student of languages. I did not know that. I had to look it up. At the Pedagogical Institute in Peskov, which is her hometown. And she's appeared in more than 30 movies, Karen. I don't know if you've seen any of these. Battle for Sevastopol, The Heritage of Love, Zulenka Opens Her Eyes, my personal favorite, and Cold Tango, which I'm not sure what that was about, but sounds like interesting movies. These are obviously all Russian movies.
They almost sound like X-rated movies.
I wouldn't know, Karen. So anyway, she had to pass strenuous medical tests. And I have a picture of one of the medical tests that she had to pass. And that's it right there. She had to come face to face with an alien. Now, for those of you who can't see, I have a picture of Sigourney Weaver from Alien Predator, and she's face to face with the alien that was on that movie. So I'm hoping that this is the kind of movie that it is. So this is happening right now, Johnny, Karen. They plan to launch Yulia and her director on October 5th, so less than 6 months away from the Cosmodrome in Russia. And so they're training right now as we speak. They have to take centrifuge test, vibration stand test. They have to go on training flights in zero gravity and undergo parachute training. So, and they're going to cover all this on Russian TV. So they had to pick an actress. I got another picture of her. You don't have to look at her. There she is right there. They had to pick an actress who could still look sexy while vomiting, because that's what she's going to be doing most of the time when she's in zero gravity and upside down. And if they needed actresses who could look sexy vomiting, they should have contacted some of those women who were in Bridesmaids, Kristen Wiig and I forget all those Saturday Night Live actresses. There was a lot of vomiting in that movie. But anyways, so Yulia will leave on October 5th. They'll be on the space station for 12 days filming this movie called Challenge. It's called Challenge, yeah. And it's the story of a female surgeon's mission to perform an operation on a cosmonaut too ill to return to Earth immediately. No word on whether there's aliens or not. I'm kind of betting that something's going to peek its head into the window while they're doing all this. And no word on costumes. Now, I have some suggested costumes here. This is 7 of 9 from Star Trek, who single-handedly or single-bodiedly saved Star Trek Voyager, I think it was, when they brought her on. That's Jerry Ryan, by the way, is the actress's name. Very fine actress, by the way. Also on whatever the new Star Trek is. And timing is everything, Karen. In 2020, NASA announced that Tom Cruise would be making a movie on the space station for Hollywood. But they diddled around too much, as they've been known to do, and the Russians beat them to the punch. So we've got Yulia going up instead of Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise is upset about this. But
I'm sure he is. Yes.
Yeah. This is going to space is Mission Impossible for Tom right now. So this Yulia could be the first actress to win both an Oscar and a Medal of Honor
Wow.
bravery. Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty cool. Okay, so now we're sticking with the UFOs and celebrities. Demi Lovato. John, do you know who Demi Lovato is?
Yeah, she's that pop singer.
Pop singer. She's also an actress. And for those of you who are watching on YouTube, there she is. She's she. I think we've talked about her once before. She started on Barney and Friends as a child actress, which I'm sure she wants everybody to forget. So that's why I bring it all the time. And then she had a bunch of other TV appearances. Then she had a hugely successful music career. And now she's a UFO investigator. The show is going to be called Unidentified with Demi Lovato. And she and her best friend and the skeptic, her John DiNallo, Matthew, and her sister Dallas are going to go looking for UFOs. And she's going to do like we're doing right now, talk about recent UFO sightings, secret government programs, and all that good stuff. Now, she has legitimate experience with UFOs. In 2016, she told Elle Canada that she encountered a worm UFO. She says, "I'm walking outside. I looked up, and it was almost like there was a worm in the sky. It changed shapes and moved all over the place." And then in 2014, she appeared on Late Night with Seth Meyers, and she said she knows aliens are real. And then she also said, oh, and Christopher Columbus had actually seen 3 mermaids on his way to America. So not only are aliens real, but mermaids are real too. And then finally, just last year, right before the pandemic, she went to Joshua Tree National Park in, is that in California or Nevada? It's out there somewhere out west. She went out there, and that's a big old UFO hotspot. And she actually saw UFOs. She had profound sightings both in the sky as well as feet away from me. Now, John, I was thinking about you because I went looking, and sure enough, she took some pictures of her UFO, and there it is right there.
Wow.
How about that?
Well, it could be one, I guess.
Could be. That's right. You can't say it's not. You can't say it is. Right. It's some light.
It's in the realm of possibility.
There you go. I'll agree with that. So if Demi Lovato, pop star actress Demi Lovato, Barney actress, says that UFOs are real and aliens are real, would you believe her? Karen, what do you think?
I believe she believes that.
Oh, good answer. Good. You've been paying attention.
Yes, I have.
John, how about you?
I'm not so sure.
No, not so sure.
I'm going to be skeptical on this one.
There you go. Fitting right into your role. I personally am going to wait to see what Barney says. Once Barney weighs in, and whether he loves it or hates it, then I vote with Barney. Okay. So now let's move on to sports monsters. We haven't had many sports monster shows. So this is for you, John. During the Wells Fargo golf tournament in North Carolina, just over 2 weekends ago, I think it was, Keith Mitchell. Now, I'm not sure if he's like one of the top stars or not, but he's putting on the 17th hole, and the TV audiences notices something in the water behind him. And there's a picture of the something in the water. The TV audience noticed a big, huge fin sticking out. Now, this is in like a water hazard. Okay, he's not standing next to the ocean, I don't think, here. And it came up and it disappeared, came up again and disappeared. He missed the putt, needless to say, but he couldn't take a Lake Monster mulligan because the commissioner said that it was not a monster, it was just a catfish, and catfish are okay. So if it had been a real monster, he could have taken a stroke, which it had a stroke at the same time.
Yeah.
So that's what they're saying, that this is a catfish in this water hazard behind Keith Mitchell on this golf tournament. Now, personally, I think they should have monsters on in golf. I think they should have all kind of distractions in golf tournament. Make it more like miniature golf. I don't have any problem with the giant clown. I don't have any problem with windmills on the course. You get used to it. So they could get used to monsters they could get used to sandworms coming out of the sand trap, maybe Bigfoot in the woods waving, or standing in the gallery, being quiet, but standing, 8 feet tall over everybody else. The golfer's going to see his caddy will see it. If you see the caddy running in the opposite direction, that could be the reason why. So I don't know. So there's my sports story for the week. The lake monster at the golf tournament. Now, I promised the three-eyed cow. This comes from Wales. A veterinary nurse in Wales had a cow brought, a newborn calf brought to her, and she said she'd never seen anything like this before. And what she saw was this creature right here. This is a cow with a third eye right in the middle of its head. Has eyelashes and looks, as normal as a cow's eye could look, I guess. So the third eye is your psychic, for the paranormal people, that's your psychic eye that sees things that you can't see with the other two eyes, which explains why the cow's moos sound more like ohms, but sure enough, the veterinarian said that it looked like it was working, but she had no way of testing, no eye chart for cows. What is this? Is this the farmer? Is this point to the farmer, point to the stool. So anyway, of course somebody started a church already. That's normally what happens. And I've got a picture of a lady with they're already worshiping this cow with
wow.
So I mean, it's just
a small cow.
That was a calf. I'm sorry, it's a calf.
It's a calf. Okay, a calf. All right, that makes sense.
And basically, from what I can tell from this picture, it's a male calf. And obviously, I'm not from a farm. I don't know what they call male calves, but it's definitely a male, and a miracle. I think this church is the Third Eye Baptist Church over here. So speaking of churches, yeah, I know. Speaking of churches, that's our segue into this story from St. Albans Cathedral in Hertfordshire, England. St. Albans had a statue that they needed to have repairs done on it. So they sent it out during the pandemic. And, this is in the shrine of St. Amphibolus. I should have looked that one up, what he's the patron saint of, if it's a he. So anyway, they send the statue out to get work done on it during the pandemic. And the statue comes back looking like this. It's got a mask on.
Oh my gosh.
That's disgusting. I can't believe it. And I wear, I'm still wearing my mask, but I don't think that you should put mask on stone statue. John, you're a religious guy there. Weigh in on this one.
Wow, I mean, it's kind of, it is a mask. It looks, it appears that he has a mask on, right?
Oh yeah, you can see the loops over the ear. It's definitely one of those surgical masks.
So what's the reason for him wearing the mask?
Good question, John. I'm glad you asked that. According to cathedral officials, they said it's meant to show that the church is both medieval and modern.
Oh my God. That's a stretch.
Yeah. Now, the parishioners didn't get asked. So now they're all upset about it. But they're willing to accept it as long as they don't send any other statues out and they come back holding their arm from getting a vaccination. They put their foot down if that happens. And John, this reminded me, John and I are both Catholic. We were both raised in the Catholic Church. This reminds me of Lent, when they used to cover up the statues during Lent.
Yes.
For some reason, I don't remember quite the reason why they were covered up, but all I remember was I knew they were still looking at me, even through, they were saints, and they could see through. They could see through this purple cloth hanging over them. So those eyes were still following me. So now let's see. I want to see how we're doing on time here. Our latest. So sticking with the lake monster theme. my favorite name for a lake monster is the Ogopogo, which lives in a lake in British Columbia. So they had the first Ogopogo sighting of this year. And I have a picture for you, John. So the lady saw it, and she didn't want to use her name. She just went by the name Andrea because she didn't want to be made fun of. So she says it was huge. It was aquatic. It moved so fast. I knew it wasn't a moose. It submerged itself, reemerged, pulling a wake behind it, which we can see in the picture, and then it submerged and disappeared. So she took the picture, she gave it to the news media, but she didn't want anybody contacting her. And the Ogopogo is a controversial monster in British Columbia because the rights to the monster belong to a native tribe called the Silex tribe. And their spokesperson, there's no way, she has far too many X's and consonants in her name that I could pronounce it. She says that we can no longer call this the Ogopogo. Now that they've obtained the trademark to it, they want to use its Silex name, which is pronounced N-ha-ha-eat-Q, which means sacred being in the water in their language. So you're no longer, normally it's a cartoonish, monsterish kind of thing. You're no longer allowed to do that. And the people are upset because, like Loch Ness, they make a lot of money off the funny Ogopogo. So they don't want to change the name. Ogopogo is the name. It's on their beer. It's on their ketchup. It's on everything that they've trademarked with the Ogopogo logo. Ogopogo logo, how about that? That's a little poem there. So anyway, so Andrea says she doesn't care. She knows for sure, whatever you call it, she saw a monster. She said a freaking monster, which I don't know the Silex word for that, but so there's your picture. There's your monster picture for you, John. Not even blurry, by the way.
That is not a blurry picture. You're right.
So now I sticking with our alien theme for one more story here. I'm gonna take this down for a second. Last week, and I would have talked about this story, except, and I'll explain what happened. But last week, I had a story on Mysterious Universe about a lady who was abducted by aliens. Her name was Paula Smith. She lived in England. And she said in the article, and I could only find one source for the article, she had 52 different alien abduction experiences and gave a description of the alien. The alien was silver, gave a nice description of this 30-foot wide spaceship in the shape of a boomerang. So I tried to track her down, couldn't find her. I couldn't find any other articles. I published it anyways. I pointed to areas where I thought that the story was a little funky. And a couple days later, I get contacted by a lady by the name of Paula Elizabeth Green, who was all upset with me because she's Paula Smith. And I didn't figure that out and call her up and get the real story, because she said the Daily Star had a terrible story, full of holes, didn't quote her directly, blah, 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 blah. So I said, well, I'm sorry, but there's a lot of Paula Smiths in the phone book, and I don't have that many quarters. So, and she was old enough to get that reference. So I asked her some questions about her experience. I said, I'll be more than happy to tell you a real story. And she said, cool. So somewhere in here, I think I have her alien picture, which I'll. So anyway, so the spaceship was 30 feet high, 30 feet wide, had on 3 legs. And she saw it fly, hovered above the water, only 5 feet above the water. When she was abducted at age 12, okay, this was her first abduction, she was taken onto the ship. And in the article, it said they showed her a slideshow, which I said, come on, you come from light years away to tell give this lady a message to humanity, and you show it on a slideshow. And she said, oh no, it wasn't a slideshow. It was a TV. So they've got TV. I guess they did it so that the humans, and she wasn't the only one on the ship, would feel more comfortable watching it. Except it was terrible scenes. It was scenes of all the death and destruction that are going to happen on Earth if we don't wise up. So she said she was sitting. So then she described the silver alien, and I wanted to mention that because the article talked about the oh, those are my crop circles. There's the silver alien.
Right.
The article mentioned it a number of times that the aliens were silver in color, not gray, which is the normal color of this type of alien. And she said, no, that's wrong. The alien was not silver; it was gray. And I said, so why did you paint it silver? And she said, because they didn't have any gray paint. So she had to mix colors together, and that's what she came up with. But she assured me that this was a gray alien, not a silver alien. Then she also said she wasn't sure if that was skin or a spacesuit or what, which I thought was kind of interesting. And I asked her, I said, you did this when you were 12 years old. That was a number of years ago. Why didn't you come out after all these experiences? And she said because she was afraid. She didn't want to be made fun of. And I can understand that. But she wants to get more people because she said there's been hundreds of people abducted by these particular aliens. There were a number of people on the ship with her, and she wants them to come out and tell their story too, since she was able to finally do it with the Daily Star, and now with a more accurate source, Mysterious Universe, and an even more accurate source, What in the World? So, as I said, we're leading edge here. So we're talking about alien abductees straight from the abductee's mouth here. And then I asked if she saw any more aliens, and she said, yeah, she saw a tall blonde alien in a pinstriped suit. And all I could think of was this must be the gangster side of the the alien in a pinstriped suit. But she said it was really tall, but then he magically turned into one of the gray aliens, which, that makes more sense, I guess. So I wanted to show you that picture, John, because, you're such a skeptic that we never have pictures of aliens and Bigfoot. And so there you go. There's your alien picture for the week.
Okay. I'll accept that. I'll accept that.
Oh, okay. All right. We have a winner here. Speaking of winners and losers, John, where do we have winners and losers? But in sports. And as you know, every week we have a segment called What in the World of Sports. John DiNallo is the host of that segment. Each week I ask John to find us a sport that he and I could participate in our advanced stage. Nothing too strenuous, nothing requiring heavy lifting or fast running or anything like that. And he always manages to come up with something that is possibly we're capable of, but we certainly wouldn't want to do it. And I believe he has another one of those this week. So John, why don't you take it away with your sport for the week?
All right, Paul, I will. And the sport for this week, ladies and gentlemen, is haggis hurling.
Okay.
I'll repeat that.
Say that again. Yeah.
Haggis hurling.
Haggis hurling.
Let me explain. Haggis hurling.
Please do.
It's a Scottish sport that involves hurling a haggis as far as possible for distance and accuracy. The participant
and accuracy.
That's it. The participant throws the haggis from atop a platform. Now, you may ask, what is haggis? Well, haggis is a flavorful dish
I have a picture
from a sheep's heart, liver, and lungs, ground up and mixed with onions, suet, oatmeal, and spices.
Yum. Sounds good.
Then the mixture is stuffed inside a sheep's stomach, cooked for 3 hours, and then it is served.
Now, we were talking about this before the show. I have a picture of a haggis up there. It looks kind of like a kishka from the Polish cuisine,
yes,
or a boudin from New Orleans. You don't eat the sheep's stomach. I want to point that out. So it's not like kielbasa.
Right.
And I have been to Scotland, and I have eaten haggis. I also had vegetarian haggis while I was there, which is they left all the sheep stuff out. But you're missing something if you don't have sheep innards in your haggis. So anyway, so there's for those of you who aren't familiar with haggis, I have a picture up. Go, please come to YouTube and take a look at it or Google it, and you'll see what haggis looks like. But we're not talking about eating it, are we, John?
Yes, we are. And with that description of what haggis actually is, you would expect that after eating it, there would be a lot more hurling. So to speak. But haggis hurling is a sport, and it is spread as a sport from Scotland, where it originated, and has become popular in some countries over the years, such as Australia, Canada, New Zealand, and right here in the United States.
Oh, in the United States, haggis hurling. Okay.
That's right. And before you scoff at this, there's even a World Haggis Hurling Association.
There you go, Karen. Karen always waits for it.
Oh my God.
It's not legitimate unless there's an association and a commissioner.
Yeah.
Right. Well,
and a rule book.
Well, and going to the origin of haggis.
Oh yeah.
The sport. Many Scots believe that it was a sport with an ancient origin, but the commonly acknowledged story of the sport is that a wife was preparing a haggis for her husband's lunch while he was out working in the fields. After slaving for hours over a hot haggis, who wants to haul it over creeks and streams and then through a field? So to save time, the wife would just throw the cooked haggis over to her husband, and he would have to catch it with the front of his kilt.
So he's working,
a little tradition.
He's working in the fields in his kilt. Okay.
Exactly.
Right. And I have a picture of a woman in traditional outfit hurling her haggis to her husband here. So now, funny, but I want to, as an aside here, when on another trip to England, we went to the mining area in Cornwall, and they have a similar story there where they have a thing called a pasty, I think, pasty is the way it's pronounced, kind of like a hot pocket, only a lot bigger, and it's bread and filled with meat and potatoes and a dessert lined up, and then they crimp the edges so it doesn't fall out, and they bake it, and then they would take it and they would drop them down the mine shaft to the miners so they wouldn't have to come up to get fresh lunch. There was no McDonald's. This wasn't Scotland. Oh, so so this is similar. You got to get your husband his hot lunch, so you hurl him a haggis.
Now, here's the real story. Here's the real story behind
the real story.
However. Okay. So the sport was invented initially as a joke in 1977 by Robin Dunseith for the gathering of clans, those athletic events in Edinburgh.
Oh, yeah, big time.
What he did was he placed an advertisement in the Scottish newspaper wanting to revive the ancient Scottish sport of haggis hurling. And after the advertisement was published, many people wanted to participate.
My God.
And then, so what happened then, it was then used to raise the funds of a charity during the Highland Games. And then Dunseith continued to be the president of the World Haggis Hurling Association for over 20 years. He actually sent out certificates to the champion hurlers and even wrote a book entitled The Complete Haggis Hurler.
Now, I went looking for that book, John.
Did you find it?
No, I couldn't find it. I have a couple more pictures of people hurling their haggises. Okay. Both the men and the ladies in their traditional Scottish plaid. Here's a person who is holding the haggis, so to speak, waiting for it to be hurled. And here's a guy. Somewhere in here I have there's an old Scottish guy. There it is. Okay, here's the book. I couldn't find the book you referenced, John, but I found this one. Don't panic. I'm a professional haggis hurler.
The chock full of information there, I'm sure.
Chock full of information on the rules and regulations and the history. But you don't need to look for the book. We've got John DiNallo. So, John, tell us more.
So in 2004, Dunseth admitted the sport was supposed to be a joke,
Oh
and all
no.
the proceeds of the book then had written, they went to various charities. So it went for a good cause.
Okay.
Now, there's two variations of haggis hurling that have been developed over time. One is performed at festivals, like you had seen there before, and then the other as a professional sport.
An actual professional sport.
Correct, correct. Um, and for the game itself, the haggis has to be made traditionally before it
By a
starts.
wife.
Yes, well, before the contest starts, the haggis must be cooked and inspected to ensure that it is made to traditional specifications and that no firming substances were added to it.
No drugs. No
So
drugs
there was
in the
something about the
haggis.
consistency, of the haggis itself. So the sporting haggis weighs 50 grams. It's 18 centimeters in diameter and 22 centimeters in length.
So it's
There's
smaller.
there's
It's
always a
bigger than a
plus or minus 30
softball.
grams for both junior and middleweight events.
Yeah,
But
it's
in the
bigger than a
heavyweight
softball,
event,
smaller than a football.
right? In the heavyweight event, the haggis is 1 kilogram in weight, standard 850 grams, and plus or minus 50-gram allowance. So again, they obviously do these to
So
the uh,
see,
to the,
kilogram is 2
competition and the
pounds.
people that are able to participate.
Yeah, yeah. So a kilogram is 2 pounds. So two pounds. That's a pretty heavy. It's not quite a
Sure.
shot put. Yeah, but so anyways, I have a picture, a drawing from the official rules of haggis on how you how you begin to hurl. The commence the hurl, it's called, waiting to signal to commence the hurl. Looks like, for those who can't see it, if you've ever seen a shot putter holding the shot on his neck before he throws it, that's the same position basically that the haggis hurler has, with the added challenge that he's on top of a barrel.
Or a platform, or it
Or
could
a
be a
platform,
platform.
yeah.
Right, right. Now, in the interest of world records, as I
World
know you're
record,
interested,
Karen. World record for haggis
there is a
hurling.
world
You
record
know-
for haggis hurling.
I have to
It was
tell you, I'm
measured
really
at-
nauseous.
Oh my gosh! But the world record was measured at 217 feet, or 66 meters, by Lauren Coulthard on June 11, 2011, and that hurl exceeded the previous record of 180 feet, or 55 meters, and that was done in 1984 by Alan Pettigrew.
217 feet. I wish I would have looked it up. I don't know what the world record for the shot put is. I know it's farther than that. That's a long way to throw a baseball, 217 feet.
Yeah, 217 feet. I mean, that's significant. I mean, that's a great distance, and also you're throwing it for accuracy, not just distance.
For accuracy, that's right. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So there's a certain parameter, that it has to stay within.
So I had a picture here of when a woman who was upset with her husband for participating in the haggis hurling because she didn't want him to stay home and watch a movie with her. So here's the haggis she made for him.
Oh my God. Medicine ball.
It's
How
the
much do you
size of a
think that
medicine ball.
weighs?
Pardon?
How much do you think that weighs?
Oh, 20 or 30 pounds easily.
Yeah, easy.
I think that's another one of those events in those Scottish games. Now, if men had truly invented this sport before it was the practice of women throwing it to their husbands in the field, it would have looked like this. This is a guy in the Scottish games throwing, and I forget what they call this thing. It's kind of like the ball and chain that they used to throw in the Olympics, but it's a ball on the end, an iron ball on the end of like a broomstick, and he's gonna fling it. That would be a way to hurl a haggis.
Yeah.
So Karen, did you have any questions you want to ask John about
No,
haggis?
I'm hoping that we never talk about this again.
Oh, okay. All right. I'm not going to promise that one. Oh, anyways, John, as always, what a great sport. Haggis, the sport of haggis hurling.
Ugh,
If nothing else, folks, it's different.
it is.
There you go. There you go. It's different. And it's not alien either. You can get haggis, right? You can hurl a haggis right here in the good old United States of America.
Yeah.
Yeah, find a British market or a British friend, and they'll tell you how to find it. So it's a real treat. It really is. Take my word for it. Ha ha ha. So anyway, speaking of taking my word for it, it's now time to play everybody's favorite What in the World game, Bluff the Co-host, which we there's music playing in the background, but you can't hear it.
That's right.
Our theme song. So anyways, Bluff the Co-host is similar to the stories are similar to the ones we've been telling all afternoon, with the added challenge that some may be true, but some may be a bluff, and it could be one, two, or all three, and it's up to Karen and John and anyone tuning in on the podcast or watching on YouTube to determine whether it's real or a bluff. So, John and Karen, are you ready? Hands on the buzzer.
Ready.
Yes, I'm ready.
John's ready, placed his bets already. Okay, so let's get started with story number one. Sorry, Karen. You may think that the only thing Scots do with their haggis is hurl it, but they actually enjoy eating it, especially at the many restaurants that serve haggis, as well as the fast food places that have drive-through windows for haggis sandwiches. Well, that was true until the pandemic hit, and all of those places were ordered to close down by the Scottish government. Now that so many Scots are vaccinated, the restaurants are allowed to reopen, and the Scottish government has asked its citizens to step up to the plate, the haggis plate, and help the struggling industry come back by eating lots of haggis. In order to return to pre-pandemic levels, they determined that every Scot should eat 124 haggises by the end of 2021.
Oh.
That sounds like a lot, but it's only one every other day. So if you still object, the government will also offer free kilt alterations for anyone who needs to let them out after eating all those haggises. So Karen, I knew it was coming. I didn't want to say anything. The government says, help the haggis business eat more haggis. Real or bluff? It's the Scottish national food, by the way.
Yeah. So, I am so sick right now, and I'm starting my fasting early because of all this. I'm going to say it's true.
Oh, haggis! Just to get past this story.
Yeah, really.
Says it's true. All right, John, haggis aficionado. How about you?
Well, I'm going to agree with Karen. I'm going to say it's a real story.
Real story.
I want to say it's a real story.
Right after the haggis hurling, we come to haggis conservation. Help the industry eat more haggis from the Scottish government. Both Karen and John say it's true. Let's see what the official word from the commissioner is. Yeah, that was a bluff. Sorry.
That's good.
Sorry, but sure sounds like it makes sense, doesn't it?
Yeah, it did.
Okay. All right. Here's another one ripped straight out of the headlines, maybe, for story number. Oh, so let's see what's the score here. 0-0. Boy, that's unusual. You two have been doing very well the past few weeks. Let's see how you do with this one. Story number 2. Bill Gates may think he has it bad, splitting half of his fortune with his soon-to-be ex-wife, who is accusing him of having affairs with his co-workers. But one of the richest men in Zimbabwe has it worse. His wife is filing for divorce and accusing him of affairs with his co-workers, but his co-workers are ghosts. The man made his fortune conducting seances for ghost-believing Zimbabweans, but lately he's been conducting them with no customers around, and that made his wife suspicious. She hired another medium who contacted some of the spirits in the area, and that medium confirmed that at least 2 female ghosts claimed to have had spiritual sex with her husband. Since this is Zimbabwe, many of these old customs are still recognized by law, and the testimony of both the medium and the ghost will hold up in court. The billionaire offered to give up the business and go to an exorcist, but his wife says it's too late. Bill Gates wishes him luck. All right, John, from Zimbabwe, the man who cheats on his wife with ghost. What do you say, real or bluff?
I'm going to pray that it's a bluff.
John,
I'm going to
What
pray it's a
religion?
bluff.
John says it's
I
a
mean,
bluff.
Yeah, I say
Which
it's a
part
bluff.
of it is the bluff? All of it, obviously.
It's a bluff.
Okay.
I hope.
Well,
Karen, I've told a lot of Zimbabwe stories in my day.
and we've had all these women having affairs with ghosts and having ghost babies. So
having ghost
it's
babies.
Zimbabwe. Let's say it's true.
Karen says it's true. John says it's a bluff, that a man is getting divorced because he's having affairs with ghost. Bill Gates says that's a bluff. So John, you got it.
John's
Karen
winning.
Wow, Karen is
Okay,
down
all right. Okay.
2-0. John is ahead by 1.
Yep.
But Karen can come right back because in Bluff the Co-host, points are doubled in round 3.
Right.
So John, you could still, you better hang in there here.
Okay.
Pay close attention to this one. No haggis in this one, Karen. Story
Okay.
number 3. I'm sorry. People who live to be 100 or more are always asked what they attribute their longevity to. Some say healthy living. Others swear by a daily shot of whiskey or a glass of beer. A 111-year-old man in Australia isn't sure what you would call what he does, but it works. At least once a week for his entire life, he's eaten chicken brains. While he could easily down a whole plate of chicken brains and wash them down with a Foster's beer when he was young, the nursing home where he lives now limits him to just 1 chicken brain per week, which he complains is just a bite. Despite chickens being dumb birds, his family says his mind is as sharp as ever, sharp enough that he's always looking for ways to get more chicken brains. Let's see, who goes through that? Karen goes first.
Oh my God. These stories today.
A lot of food stories here. Okay, Karen. So the man who eats chicken brains and lives to 111. I think he's close to being the oldest person in Australia if he's 111 years old. What do you think, Karen? Real or bluff?
Real.
Karen says it's real.
Yeah.
And would you do that to live to be 111?
Hell no.
How about you, John? What do you say? Real or bluff?
Well, that story is so convoluted that it's got to be true.
So convoluted that it's got a new maxim for Bluff the Co-host. It's so convoluted, it must be true. Let's see. What does the commissioner say here? The commissioner has issued a ruling. That's a real story. You both got it right.
All right, Karen, way to go.
But John
Very
won.
good.
Oh, okay, good.
So
Hey,
that means John
2 weeks
won
in a
for this
row.
week with let's see, 2 and 2 and 1. That's 3. Oh, I did major in math. How about that? So that's our Bluff the Co-host for the week, and that is also the end of What in the World for the week. I want to thank Karen Hale, our illustrious co-host and general manager of NewClevelandRadio.net, for giving us this great platform. Go there. After you're done listening to What in the World, please listen to the many other podcasts that she has on the platform. Just the widest variety you could ever think of. Something for everybody. And then, as always, I want to thank my old friend John DiNallo. He's hopefully he'll have his sound fixed so he doesn't have to get so close to the screen next week. But we like seeing all of you, John. So thanks, and thank you for the story on haggis.
Thanks, Paul. And hopefully the volume is good next week, is right.
Haggis hurling. I'm going to go hurl a haggis when we're done
And
here.
no more haggis, please.
Okay.
Have a great day, everybody. Stay well. And